Well, thank you, Chair. And I would like to just put on the record quickly that I know we will be called to a vote. My recommendation is that we agree to vote by app, take 5 minutes to do so, and then give these women the precious time they deserve. So I'll leave that to you, Chair. First of all, I want to thank the witnesses so much for your powerful testimony today and for your service. I also want to honor all the women that are right there in the room behind you. I just am really moved by how many people show up to stand with you and how important that these voices be heard. So thank you for testifying, and thank you to those who also showed up. I think the words and the behaviors that you have are symbols of the warriors that you are. So I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for being agents of change and for allowing us as members of Parliament to also be agents of change by advocating and amplifying your voice. So my first question is to retired Major Arkell. I understand that VAC denied you based on your genetic disability or your genetic condition on your disability claim. So I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about the fact that your physicians were very clear. They saw that your service aggravated the condition. And has VAC accepted that?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak about this. So it was clear that the injuries were related to service. And I have awards for a couple of specific joints, but because as an overall, whole person, when I applied for the specific condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, despite there being information clearly in my medical records, the Veterans Affairs medical officer that reviewed the file, I actually have a copy of it because I'm appealing it. So the BPA lawyer provided me with that to provide my civilian doctor. The Veterans Affairs medical officer zoomed in on the medically unexplained symptoms. So he went right to the, pulled out evidence of the mental health department saying that it was all in my head. A couple of physicians who said, yeah, you're flexible, but that's normal, that's nothing. You're just stressed and you need to get more sleep, or you need to manage your stress. So I'm in the process of appealing it, but because there's no guarantee it's going to be successful, my case manager advised me to apply for each individual affected joint. So I currently have an award for my left shoulder, my low back, and my bilateral hips. And I'm in the process of submitting, once I was denied the overall condition, I submitted additional applications for my neck, my right shoulder, bilateral wrists, bilateral thumbs, and bilateral ankles. And I was immediately sent a medical form for each individual joint. And I have to have a medical appointment with my family physician for each individual one, which I am extremely fortunate to have a family physician. And I'm extremely fortunate that she's willing to spend the time on that. But that takes away from treating my other conditions. That takes time in her schedule away from other patients. And it's ridiculous. My physiotherapist is actually doing the measurements for the range of motion and could easily fill out the forms, but it has to be a medical officer. Mm-hmm. So it's meaning that I can't apply for, I can't fill out the forms on my own. I need help to do that, and then I need help processing that. And it just, all my energy is going towards that. So I can't apply for other conditions. Like I have gastrointestinal issues. I have issues with my nervous system, autonomic system. I have a condition that as a result of all of this other stuff, I have a condition that resembles long COVID. And I had it before COVID happened, and it's debilitating. So,
Thank you. So I'm going to go to retired Petty Officer Nielsen next. So you're going to put your thing down. I can see you. So you have a wheelchair that was provided to you while you were still serving in the CAF. Recently, you needed a minor repair. And I'm just wondering if you will tell the committee what happened when you approached VAC and what you did to fix it.
I was I'll give a little bit of background if that's okay. So I was competing, and I had these injuries before, and I was selected. I was competing in the Warrior Games in Tampa in 2019. I had an accident while I was there, and I had neurogenic shock, and I damaged my C2, 3 and 4, I believe. and it took a little bit for, initially the swelling went down, and then long story. Anyways, so CAF had bought me a wheelchair to assist with functionality, for me to go long distance and for pain. Once I retired, I needed a quick brake adjustment. It was going to be $50 per brake. I went to go to VAC to submit the claim, and they denied me and said two things. One, that it was a CAF problem, not a VAC problem. And according to them, there was no medical evidence that I needed the wheelchair, so therefore I didn't need it. I have a prescription from my nurse practitioner, although that's not for the same thing that I was prescribed, and CAF bought it for me. But the prescription from the nurse practitioner is not appropriate or good enough. They want it from a specialist, and you can't just willy-nilly get into a specialist these days. So I just pay for it on my own.
Thank you. And I understand that if you get a whole physical assessment, VAC will provide you with a brand new wheelchair over just paying the $50 to repair it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So there's different line items in that VAC will pay for, and basically, if you're given a mobility aid in the Canadian Armed Forces in CAF, it's expected that they'll cover it, but they won't. They'll only cover the items that they actually pay for. So instead of paying $100 for a couple of brakes to be adjusted and to repaired, they would go out and buy a $7,000 or $8,000 new wheelchair.
Thank you very much.